In my Chapter 5 list fueled desperation, I recently made a video tossing out my crazy Deltarune questions and theories. But I mostly glossed over a whole lot of information that frankly requires more than a 2-minute rant. One of these being my thoughts on Chapter 3's other secret boss, ERAM, the reclusive and mysterious holder of the Shadow Mantle lurking in the darkness of the Sword Realm, only revealing itself to you after successfully partaking in a genocide route-esque odyssey to destroy everything in your path, including your friends, for the sake of getting stronger.
There, that's what I wanted to see. Flickering red like pretty little
flames.
Your eyes can't hide it, Chris. Without play, the knife grows dull. Well, enough of that. We both have work to do. So if you want this mantle, hurry up and take it, if you can reach it.
Let's talk about this entity. We only know what ERAM looks like in the video game world, unless this is just what ERAM looks like all the time, in which case, what are they? I like the theory that ERAM, the Shadow Mantle holder, is, well, the Shadow Mantle itself, or some kind of bat maybe? It's hard to say. Looking back at this scene from Chapter 1, the cape that flies off of King when we defeat him looks awfully similar. Could it be that this is also ERAM? Or is that a stretch? It might be a stretch. I think it's a physical item that ERAM just kind of happens to look like. What if... Wait, dude, what if... So, check this out. Did you know that the Shadow Mantle belonged to Sham at some point? By the way, can we just take a moment to acknowledge how discreetly powerful this character is? So this whole King's Cape theory might not be that crazy after all. What's really got me all riled up though is that I don't think this is ERAM's true form. This cloth, bat-like shape, I think it just coincidentally looks like a Shadow Mantle. ERAM's true form, I need you to really bear with me here, because I usually don't like throwing out theories that don't even seem remotely possible. I mean, I know that's the point of a theory, I just prefer to make educated guesses. But this is going to be one of those moments where I'm just going to roll the dice. Do you think Toby Fox has played Mario and Luigi Dream Team? GreyGuara, where the fuck are you going with this? Alright, so look, one of the major antagonists of this game is Phantasma, the nightmare-haunting Bat King of the Dream World, who, to take up less space among other things, shrinks into a smaller, even more bat-like version of himself with a large grin. Now you're hearing me out, right? Could it be that crazy to say that a final boss version of ERAM looks a lot like Phantasma? Just me? Okay, moving on. Toby Fox games are no stranger to mysterious, omniscient characters with a chaotic, evil nature. I think ERAM might be in a similar vein as Kara from Undertale. Let's think for a minute, what is Kara? Not the Kara that Asriel grew up with, I mean dead Kara. By most definitions, they're a demon. The vengeful and corrupted soul of Kara, hell-bent on perpetually destroying timelines and spreading torment. With that in mind, I don't think it's a stretch to assume ERAM may be a demon as well. We know of the implication that Chris and Caddy at some point or another tried to summon one. Could this have been ERAM? Could it have been Friend? You know what theory I really like? That we, the player, the soul, are also a demon that they summoned? That would be a crazy twist, and it would explain a lot. But that's for another time. Especially Friend. We'll talk in depth about Friend in another video. Here's where I think Kara and ERAM differ. Earlier, I called these two chaotic evil. I meant that more so for ERAM, because it does really seem to me like they get a kick out of Chris embracing their violent tendencies. We just don't know what ERAM's ambitions or motives are yet. I mean, they do help us obtain the Shadow Mantle, a mysterious piece of equipment that just so happens to make you stronger against dark and star attacks heavily used by the Roaring Knight. You could also use this as a point against the theory that the Knight is ERAM, because yeah, that's also a thing worth mentioning. It's just kind of awkward to me, because it would mean that you're fighting the Knight, with the Knight, by the Knight. You see where I'm going with this? It's not that I don't think it's a possibility, I just disagree for the moment. I don't think there's enough evidence for that. It didn't make a lot of sense to me for ERAM, the Knight, to give you a weapon against the Knight. Could ERAM perhaps also have something to do with Gaster? Well, evidently everybody has something to do with Gaster. What we know for sure is that they have something to do with Friend. And this kind of freaks me out. I really want to know more about this. I want to know what the connection is between them. Why does Friend show up in ERAM's fight? We can only assume so much about a character we know so little about. Hell, we don't even know ERAM's real name. ERAM could be its name. It's very likely. Don't forget this is a name that the fanbase came up with through game files. This is still just the Shadow Mantle holder, and occasionally John Mantle. Let's talk a little more about what it wants. Why does it bestow us the Shadow Mantle? Well, I mean, I guess we want it, yeah. But does it just want to keep watching Chris tear shit up? We could be onto something there. Like I said, chaotic evil. Maybe it just wants to see how badly things can get if it keeps up its influence. It seems amused by us and our defiance of the rules to be back here fighting it. Amused by the events of the weird route, which it will know about if you've done it in your playthrough. Again, omniscient character. How could it possibly know about that? What else does it know? Well, it knows about the soul. ERAM's weird route dialogue implies this by saying that Chris enjoyed being able to get away with so much sinister mischief without fully bearing the blame because we, the soul, were in control the whole time. I think the soul and ERAM might have more of a connection than we think. I mean, besides the fact that it's the only other entity in this game that knows of our existence as a separate being besides Gaster, and I guess now Noel, if you want to go there. As you know, when we play Deltarune, we play as the soul, controlling Chris's actions. But here, in the sword route, this is all us. Does that make sense? I think this was just the soul exerting full control and will. Sponsored by ERAM from the moment Chris picked up that controller. If you hold left while Chris is talking to Susie, you make Sword Chris return. Dude, are you serious? That's like solid proof. Ram tells us that Tenna's got the original game and a little bit of this in the back, but I don't actually think Tenna knows what was really going on in the sword route. I don't even think Tenna knows of ERAM. Tenna is present in the final moments of the sword route, yes. But Tenna's world is falling apart at this point of the chapter. Like, the guy is freaking out. He's not gonna run backstage and grab a controller. And that's because he doesn't need to. Did you notice that at all? Like, all throughout chapter 3, Tenna never once picked up a controller. Which leads me to believe that Tenna's powers just give him the ability to project himself in the game world several times without the need of a controller. I think we just stumbled into him and his juicy lore while he was trying to clear his head in what he thought was a quieter place. The entire sword route, I think, is one big extension of ERAM's will, separate from Tenna, the Knight, and Chris. So when are we gonna see ERAM again? It's hard to say. We didn't see or hear any mention of them or the mantle in chapter 4, although the mantle did help against the Titan. My general idea of what chapter 5 is gonna look like is that it's gonna be somewhat personal and close to home for the heroes. I don't think it'll leave a lot of leeway for ERAM to make an appearance, I think. But only time will tell. Let me know what you think in the comments and feel free to point out any information I might have missed regarding this mysterious character. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more Deltarune content.